All right, that was quick, everybody. We are back on with Galiano. Galiano, thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you for coming. I actually haven't been in to the fitted out casitas yet.
No?
So I guess you had stayed here?
So I'm in the one next door. We set this one up just to do all of our video and audio. And
how was it?
You want to know the truth? Actually, I love the beds. I love.
Yeah.
By the way, if those mattress, if they were to ship with the house, that people would really love you. I don't know if but they are nice. My initial reaction was, it's spectacular. It's comfortable. Good. It's quiet for what it is. We're next to a lot of industrial here, and the trucks coming. And at night, you get some probably, I don't know if it's you or somebody else squealing their tires down the road every 5.
Oh, really? Oh, I kept you awake. Well, the highway's right there.
Yeah, well, no. Honestly, it's been a great experience, and we're going to do a review on each one of these as well. The products that you guys have put into the place, and I said this earlier, are great products. They're top notch. Like, it's not what I expected at all. I love the shower, like with the molded Boxabl.
Oh yeah,
wasn't expecting that. I'm in there doing my thing, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So that I say that because that's a lot of attention to detail.
Yeah. That was one of the things where we couldn't find a great fit. Engineered our own product for the shower to reduce cost and install and all that, and do that with a lot of other stuff too. As we go, we'll absorb more and more parts within the casita.
Right. Well, and you even do it on the plates on the outside of the house, right?
Oh, the mounting plates.
The mounting plates, right.
Yeah.
So we've been through the fabs, right? Or at least a couple of the fabs. Your marketing department's been great, working with us, Alexis and David. So I just wanted to let you know that. In regards to the production line, it's from when we first came here, when we were riding around, I think in your dually. Remember the dually ride?
That's right. That first video.
Yeah.
We pretended to drive it out of the building or something.
Yeah. Well, I was putting my seatbelt on as you were calling your dad to open up the bay door.
Yeah.
We were going to jump.
Yeah. And that was like an empty building pretty much, right?
Yeah, it was pretty well. You had the paint booths and everything in, but it wasn't what it was today.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm getting to. And I think, this is something that I really want to dive into because, you guys have 150,000, 180,000, orders going out. Yeah. You guys already delivered the government thing. That was the big thing about getting your doors open, was the big government order that you guys had going out, right?
Yeah.
I think in the beginning.
Yeah. That was pretty crazy. Like, we basically had no idea what we were doing. We had no idea if it would work, if we could pull it off. We even told the government that, and they still went forward with it. Yeah. And we managed to, scale up this big factory, execute on everything, and deliver in full, all while having, historic supply chain issues and COVID-related inflation, shipping containers. So we had like every, variable problem that you could have thrown at us, and we were able to get through it all. So
that's right, because we were traveling at that point in our motorhome. We were on the road for almost a year and a half, 2 years doing our road show, family in tow. It's come a long way. Right. To the point where, the factory was full. We live streamed the whole factory, went all the way around.
Nice.
Luis did an amazing job. I just let him do his thing. I didn't get involved in the conversation too much because he's really good.
Yeah, they're good. They're doing tours like all day, every day, because we just have nonstop people who want to come check it out. So. Yeah.
What is the biggest hurdle you've had to deal with in the factory? Everybody's done a factory, video and all this, but let's get into nuts and bolts. Like, really, where's the struggle at for what you guys are trying to work through on a day-to-day basis or a weekly basis?
On the factory side, everything is great. And we're especially excited about all the changes that are coming in the pipeline. We think there's huge room for improvement where we are, but in general for the company, the regulatory stuff has been like an absolute nightmare. Yeah. So now after 18 months in production, we still don't have modular certifications for any state. Mm-hmm. And that's not our fault. It's just the way it is. It's incredibly difficult and cumbersome to get that kind of stuff. And, I feel like if we didn't have, some of these opportunities that we have, it could have like completely sunk the company early on. Like, for example, our first order was the government that did not require us to have any modular certs. So what if we didn't have that order? We'd be sitting here in an empty factory, not in production, not doing anything, waiting around for reports to be written, testing to be done, state government officials to ask questions, and just all kind of issues like that. So it blows my mind. Like, I never in a million years expected to have this level of friction, like every single step of the way. But we're getting through it, and eventually, when we're through it, it'll become like kind of a competitive advantage for us on a barrier to entry for others. Because in order for someone else to do this, they'll have to get through this stuff. Like, I can say selfishly from Boxabl, like, all right, that's kind of good, but in general, it's like it's outrageous. It's outrageous, and it's not just the state modular certification. This is federal, local. There's various different regulatory agencies for like every step of the way. Right. My mind is just like blown every day dealing with this stuff. So we're now in the final stretch of that, getting hopefully Arizona, Nevada, and California first. And I think once we have those three, the rest will be kind of easier to get because all the work's already been done and submitted, and all the back and forth is done. But yeah, that's been super frustrating. And we have this big wait list of people who most of them, they can't buy a house because we're not allowed to put them down anywhere. So like, we're looking for special customers where we can get units out without these modulars. So, we have the government order, or, this copper mine order, which originally we thought we were told wouldn't require any of these certifications, or maybe it's maybe we could look for like a tribal customer. The tribal has their own laws. There are a few states that don't have modular programs. So we're like trying to strategically figure out like, where do we place these units while we're just waiting with our hands tied to get through these regulatory approvals.
So this is interesting, right? Because you see the good, the bad, the ugly. People write and people assume a lot of stuff. But I don't think anybody's really talking about the fact that, all right, so you have a bunch of orders out there, but not everybody has a place to put them. They got in line for. That's kind of what I'm hearing. And but you got to have a place to actually deliver and set these.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different stuff. Like when we look at that customer list and figure out who's getting units first, there's a whole ton of variables. I mean, there's a question of like, who can pay, who needs financing, right, who has land, who doesn't have land, what state are they in? I mean, there's like a million different variables that we have to look through and sort through to figure out where they go. And we'll get it dialed in with a sales process that takes all that into account, and we'll get into like a flow of it. But for now, we're just like, figure where do we go next kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah. And that's the regulatory side of it, right? That's the code side. That's the third party inspection side. There's the approval sides. And then there's where these are going. Are they going, do they treat it as a mobile home? Are they treating it as a modular home? Like, how are you classified right now?
So we, I guess, have potentially 4 paths to getting these units deployed. The first one is you go through the regular building code, and you say it's a panelized structure. It's not a modular factory built structure. Because if you look at our units, you could say, is it modular or is it panelized? Panelized is a stack of panels that gets assembled on site. Modular is a finished room module that's finished in the factory. Well, guess what? We're a mix of both, because more than 2/3 of our panels are panels stacked in a pile that get assembled on site. So if you say it's panelized, I think there's a path for a friendly building department to say, yeah, you're good you submit all the plans. Yeah, you're good as a panelized building. The local building department will inspect it, and you're good to go. Then you have the state modular programs that we've been trying to get through for a long time. So that's a state by state approval. Unfortunately, it's state by state, so we can't do one approval for the whole country, which is another outrageous thing. I mean, it's insane to have to go state by state. Then you have the federal HUD code, which is a federal code, but there's other, problems with that. Like, a mobile home, trailer home is going to be kind of looked down upon in a lot of areas. It might be prohibited in a lot of areas. There's other weird things with that too, where you may need to have wheels permanently affixed, chassis to the bottom of the units. So that's got drawbacks as well. Then you have potential to do what's called park model RV. which is like a tiny house on wheels. So
Sure.
That's actually kind of the best one because it's mostly a self-certification. So the manufacturer is just self-certifying that they're meeting this code called ANSI 119.5, and then you're good to go. But even that, we just bumped into an issue here in Nevada where the state went out and inspected one of our units. The customer had taken the wheels off the unit, and they said this is not a park model because it has wheels on it. Why you even need wheels on a tiny house that's never moving anywhere is another government thing. It's just like, why? Why do you have all these rules that are causing, pricing costs to go up and friction and all these issues?
Well, I mean, that's really it. I mean, if you look at it, right, and what you're talking about, if you had a modular building made out of a wood structure with wood, floor joists and band joists is much different than a mobile home structure, which is like you're talking about, in a steel chassis. Yeah. And then there's the mobile home that's steel chassis and wheels, which you're talking about, which obviously fits us. But this is not built like a mobile home. This is built really. I mean, this is a solid house.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, our units are testing out better and stronger, safer, better wind ratings, energy ratings, fire resistance, like across the board. Our houses are better than any houses in any of these categories. But then there's still these nuances that kind of hold us back. So it's definitely a battle to get through, but we're on our way. Sure. And we're going to come out way ahead at the end, and we're going to have a huge program cranking out massive quantities of housing, and we're going to keep opening up these different pathways to deploy them, offering our customers with all the different possibilities, ammunition of all the different things that they might need, plans and test data and approvals and like everything we can get. We're working towards getting to make it easier for the customers to deploy the units.
Right. Well, I'm going to help you with that. I got some good news for you from a conversation I had earlier today. I had the CEO of the National Institute of Building Science on, which is a government entity, and they actually work across the board with the ICC and everybody else. So AC Powell's his name, and he's very interested in talking with you guys further about how they can help you understand and work through the adoption of new codes. Because you're right, the existing codes aren't they're not made for this. Yeah. The existing codes aren't, so people know, like even modular homes or CLT. Like the codes aren't really clear to the building inspectors, and it's not because of their lack of knowledge. It's just they were never given the knowledge. They don't understand the value, and they also don't understand where their job begins and ends when you're using a third-party inspection company. So there's a whole lot of that. Am I preaching to you?
It's funny because I was just sitting with a local government building department a few days ago, and they almost had no clue.
Yeah.
And I'm asking them these questions. Sometimes they don't even understand what I'm talking about. They don't know what to tell me. They don't know. I'm trying to ask them, all right, what do I do? And they can't even tell me what to do because it is so confusing on so many levels. And our product in particular doesn't fit perfectly into any of these categories because we're trying to do things a new way, a better way, a more efficient way to get a better product. And building construction is a very local thing. Yeah. That's the bulk of the regulation is happening at the local level because no one ever considered, can you really have a national product that's like scalable around the country that works everywhere, that's kind of universal like we're trying to do.
Right. Well, even international, I would imagine the shipping possibilities for this on like shipping container ships is enormous.
Yeah, we've had a lot of requests from overseas, and a few of them we ended up
one here
getting. A few of them we ended up getting quotes to ship them out, and it actually wasn't too price prohibitive to ship them overseas. Right. But in most cases, I think we would be looking to do international factories. And part of the long-term vision for Boxabl is that we get it really dialed in here with this formula that we can copy in other places around the world. And once we're really dialed in here, we go and approach people on our list who want to have partner factories, and we say, here it is. This is going to be the cost of the equipment and the building and the labor and the materials. Right. You price it out for your local market. It's going to work. And I think whether you're in a high labor rate area or low labor rate area or anywhere in the world, I think that our principles here are going to result in the lowest cost housing solution and the highest quality and all the other things that come with true mass production.
The mass production thing's really interesting on how this is moving forward, right? Because even for you guys, you have one of the largest home builders in the world, right, that believes in what you're doing here in a big way. And they don't even have 150,000 orders. I mean, I think they're doing about 100,000 homes, right? If you really think about that, that's impressive. The future, of Boxabl finance and all that, I'll probably speak also with your dad on, but where are you guys at right now with getting this to the next level, funding and all of that?
So we've done really well raising money through the internet from the general public. Anyone who's interested, it pretty much has been able to invest at one point or another. So right now, we're in a strong position based on our burn rate and the cash in the bank and our kind of thoughts on when we'll hit profitability for the company. We think we're in a really strong, comfortable position for that. And most of the funding we're looking for is to be able to go bigger into a next factory. So we are right now in the planning stages for a bigger factory that would kind of take advantage of all the things that you get in a real mass production, because this is a big factory, but it's not big enough where you're going to get all these advantages. So we're kind of looking towards potentially setting up a $1 billion factory that would be the largest house factory ever done. That would give us a true automobile style mass production. Because if you look around at the best example of an amazing factory, it's got to be the car guys. Mostly Ford or Tesla plants are putting out one car per minute. I think a car is more complicated, has more parts than a house. I think there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to put out one house per minute. And if we can achieve that, it's going to be absolutely massive. That's the way that you're going to get the pricing down. And we've kind of gone through all the issues that stop that from working. And so we think we can actually mass produce our product on that level. And what we're doing here, this is a pretty big factory, but at the end of the day, even once we're scaled up in our current buildings, we might make 5,000 units per year. So that's really nothing compared to the size of the market. And it's nothing if you're talking about how big an assembly a manufacturing facility has to be to get all of these efficiencies. So when you're thinking the stick site building, where you basically have guys literally with hand tools building something by hand in a very inefficient manner, where you're kind of driving back and forth from the job site, bringing in all small loads of materials. Everything is a little bit custom. Or everything is a lot custom. And then you compare that to, efficient assembly line mass production, where you have, a standardized product that's repeatable. You have, assembly line stations where each station is doing its own task. You can use unskilled labor that you train versus a highly skilled tradesman. We don't have an electrician in our factory. We don't have a plumber in our factory. We have guys that are set to do a certain, simple task over and over. When you add in the possibility to bulk purchase raw materials, to produce your own raw materials, like vertically integrate, maybe to bring in automation, and the list goes on and on.
Sure.
I just feel like when I look at that and those principles versus the current way of doing it, there's no way we don't end up really far ahead. But to date, it hasn't happened for housing because there's things limiting that from being possible, and we kind of think we've gone through and solved all the problems that can make that possible to really do real mass production.
Well, let's look at it, right? So standardization is the key there. You can't be doing custom one-offs and meet that production schedule, at least not today. right? You get the automation and the technology, and I think the future, at least from what I'm seeing, is coming. But I do believe on how you guys are designing, building. You stayed under the permit, the transportation issues you resolved. Yes. That's the biggest issue, really. As far as being able to move product down the road and have permits. Some states only let 5, permits through.
Yeah. There's a degree of customization that we will have, but it won't be like ultimate customizability, but it will be enough where you can achieve most things that people want most of the time. And when you go beyond that, of course, it needs to be crazy custom. We'll have different room modules in different sizes with different interiors. We'll have the ability to cut out different openings all in an automated manner on our assembly line. And then you have rooms where you start stacking, connecting the rooms. Then you can get like infinite configurations of building types. Then you can add on different on-site, different exterior finishings like siding or brick or stone, whatever you want it to look like. And then at that point, you're really achieving most things that people might need, while also maintaining the standardization you need in the factory to keep it efficient.
I agree with that. So if you look at a car factory, right, they have 30 chassis, but it makes 100 different vehicles, right? It's kind of the same concept, and everybody can find a vehicle that they like out there, in pretty much any manufacturer of vehicles. And we're going to show some of that because we have, the models all sitting here. We're in the Southwest style Adobe model, and then you got the beach model and the log cabin model. Houses in general, and I say this all the time, I mean, it's no different than getting up and getting dressed. Some people get up, put a suit on, but when they come home, they have their grunge gear. Maybe they put on their Harley Davidson jacket and hit the road. You wouldn't know they wear a suit all day. It's all how you dress it up and what you do. And that's what gives you the atmosphere and the feeling. But, you guys proved at Las Vegas this year, right? That's been the big, conversation and topic. By the way, you weren't there when I showed up. I was quite disappointed. Well, I won't hold it against you.
You're talking about the Builder Show?
I didn't see you at the Builder Show, no. I came later in the afternoon.
I'll tell you, lately, my head is spinning. Like, it's just like nonstop action from like when I wake up to when I go to sleep every day, 7 days a week. I'm doing the best I can. I'm sorry I missed you there.
No. It's all right. I got there late in the day. But what I was getting to on that is you proved that you can take this model, right, the Casita, and then you expanded on it with a three system model. I don't know what you call I know it's a Boxabl, 3 Boxabl model. With an awesome master suite, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. So we're sticking to Casita for now because we have so much demand for that. We want to focus, get really good at it, prove everything out. But we just wanted to bring something to the show to expand people's understanding of what we are so that people don't think, oh, Boxabl is just a tiny house company, forget about them. They realize that this is a building system. And then that model we did, which is beautiful, is really just like a very easy, simple version of what's possible for this. So we grabbed 3 of these casitas, stuck them together, changed up the interiors of them. And that is just like the beginning. And you can already see that's a totally different feel type of building. Right. And then in the future, there's just so much to go from there that I can see one day, most building types on most of the planet can be done with the Boxabl system, hopefully for far less money and faster.
Yeah, for sure. Gilbert Meyer agrees with you out there. Gilbert's down in Honduras. In fact, Gilbert, I'm going to bring on the show here in just a little bit. He's been waiting on me to send him the link. It's been kind of crazy. I was telling everybody, when we come to these, my main goal is not to interrupt business. I don't want people going out of their way. We'll figure it out and maneuver, So Gilbert, we will be getting with you. But Gilbert is a firm believer and believes in the types of wall systems that you guys are doing and they're producing in Honduras. You guys should probably talk. He's a really good guy and a smart guy too.
They're doing laminated panels?
Yeah, they are doing like a laminated panels and no equipment needed, but it's more of a panelized system than it is, a hinge system. Yeah. So flat pack type stuff is where they're doing their stuff. And then, hey, tonight we're at midnight. I'll be live streaming right here from your casita at a factory that's TLC Modular. Goldman Sachs an investor in them in Vietnam. So if you want to see a Vietnam factory and you're up at midnight, tune in.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
What would you say to everybody out there, in regards to the naysayers on this? Because you get a lot of that too. You see it. I've been seeing it on the program today.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I mean, the way we've gone about Boxabl getting it started is by basically drawing in the attention of like everyone under the sun and converting that into the opportunities and resources we have. While that's allowed us to get started in a really big way and go nuts, you build this huge factory up from nothing, there's downsides to it as well. And whenever you have a huge number of people, a certain amount of them are going to be angry or disgruntled or wrong or weird or whatever. Pretty much, I'm happy to debate and talk with anyone who's, not feeling what we're doing. But I think, most of the time, pretty quickly going to be able to, prove them wrong or say, you know what, just stay tuned and keep watching, because, from the beginning, there's been people saying, this is not going to work. You're not going to be doing this. You're full of shit. You're an asshole. All this stuff to me. But what have we done? We've consistently delivered on what we said we were going to do. We've consistently executed on our vision. Things have worked. We've come farther, faster than pretty much anyone else out there. So I think, really today, looking at where we're at, this is like beyond my wildest dreams of where we could be at this time. I mean, it's like, it blows me away. And then there's a lot of stuff also that people don't know. They don't know the whole story. They don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They don't know what's out next. So we're just going to keep working away, and we'll see who has the last laugh. I do think some people that that have bad things to say are just kind of like assholes, because why hope for us to fail? Like, are we doing something here that's like bad or hurting people? No, we're trying to do something that is going to help potentially people all around the entire world if we pull it off. The goal of the company is to dramatically reduce housing costs for everyone. So if you want to attack us, like, all right, cool. Well, that's not really kind of, good karma right there. I don't think.
Well, it's not. I mean, come on. It's like I always say to people, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, are you putting yourself out there, day to day? And you guys took it to a whole nother social media level, which just opens you up to all the banter in the world. You really got it right. Not one system solving all the problems. Right. But a bunch of systems are the solution that work. And offsite construction, no matter what your form is the solution moving forward. And I don't want to make any of the site builders and all them mad at me, but clearly what you're doing is not working, because we have an affordability problem. We have a housing shortage and a lot of homeless people right now across the country and around the world. We have to try different things, and we can't stay in last place. Agriculture does better than us. And I say it all the time. They're more advanced in agriculture than we have been in building. And whether you're cutting panels or you're cutting 2x4s, you can't cut 1,000 of them the same way across the toe of your boot in the field in the mud. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, totally need a new way to do it, because the current method is not scalable.
No.
It's not. And there's housing issues, not just in this country, but all over the world. Yeah. And, I just see that, assembly line mass production is the way to solve that. And we have to figure out all the details to make that possible. And there's a lot of details.
Yeah, there definitely is. I heard tomorrow we might be actually driving a Boxabl around.
You guys want to drive a Boxabl?
I want to drive a Boxabl. Can I drive a Boxabl? Can I take it down the Vegas Strip?
Yeah, actually.
We could live stream it down the Vegas Strip with our gear.
Yeah, we'll get the pickup truck and we'll hook it up and go ahead. Yeah.
Excellent. Party on the Vegas Strip. All right. I'm going to hold you to that one.
Yeah, that's fine.
And that's almost a spit shake.
Yeah.
So, all right. Awesome. Galiano, is there anything that you want to share with our audience out there? We've been interviewing all day long, so I could go into the factory, but I had Christian on, production manager. We've had so many on. Why don't you just say, what is your day to day? How about that? I think that'll guide me if there's any more questions before I let you run out that door.
My day is basically nonstop emails and phone calls, kind of attacking every little problem and issue, in the company, and, spending a lot of time, I think, following up with people, making sure things are done. There's production issues, there's engineering issues, sales, and investor relations. I'm pretty much touching like every separate part of the company to try and make sure we stay balanced, make sure there's no big pitfalls, coming our way.
Yeah, right. Well, and I'm sure it's coming from you from every angle, on a regular basis. It's growing. You got a couple hundred employees now. I mean, I always said business is easy until people get involved.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of variables. There's stuff happening from every angle. It's really exciting, and a lot of drama and stress. But I love it. I thrive off of this kind of thing, and it's very fulfilling and satisfying to keep kind of making progress at the company. And I would encourage anyone who's interested to, check out our social media, check out our YouTube. Pretty much everything we're doing is out there. If anyone, has where they'd like to collaborate, send us an email. We're happy to talk. And, you mentioned that the haters before. I'm always ready to debate with the haters.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to chat with me on that front, I'll be happy to come and debunk anything anyone has to say.
Well, there you have it. I mean, the gauntlet's been laid. Let's go. We'll have a debate. I don't think there's any debate. I mean, this is what we're doing here. We're live streaming and it's unedited. I'm not a YouTuber type person. I'm out here interviewing folks like yourself, and we travel the world showcasing manufacturing and people that are building it better. That's everything we do. How are we going to build it better? You guys are out there putting your necks out there. You're trying different things. You're being successful at it. If people can't see from all the, Boxabl sitting out back, and I know that's not 150,000 for all you out there, but understanding all of the things happening behind the scenes and all the things that people really don't know that are happening is the key. And I think, you got comments and questions, reach out.
I feel like, people are mad that we can't ship them houses. That make enough house. That's kind of like a good problem for a company to have, what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there's definitely not that's exactly it, and it is a good problem. And I think there's a lot of people that in the culture in the company, and I'm going to give your dad and you credit on this because you're a little nuts on occasion. You guys have fun in what you do. But I think that drives a really great culture around here. We haven't talked to anybody online, offline yet that didn't look like they were happy with what they're doing. And it's you can have the vision all you want, but it's those people that are out there that are going to execute and really deliver upon what has to happen.
Yeah, it's exciting for everyone here. And everyone here is aligned with us on the success of the company. Things like the stock options that every employee has. If we're successful, that can be kind of a life-changing thing for someone. Yeah. And I definitely appreciate guys like you because you're putting us on the map. If it wasn't for social media and people finding out about us, there is no way we could do this. And frankly, if we tried to do this before social media, it would be totally different. We would not be here. We've kind of leveraged that to the max, and it's paid off so much for us to just have guys like you putting us out there. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Hey, we love doing it. This is what we do. We travel and we showcase this all over the place. So, all right, Gally. That's what everybody calls you, Gally, right? Not Galiano, Gally.
Either one, yeah. That's fine.
All right. So, hey, look for us on the strip tomorrow, maybe. Who knows? We'll see how that goes. I might be pretty tired. I'm going 24 hours tonight, so we'll see.
Nice.
I don't know what I was thinking. I'm too old for this. Anyhow, no, we're having fun and we're going to keep doing it. So, appreciate you stopping in. There you go. Love the culture, got the unicorns. There's a whole bunch more in there. Listen, I know there's a ton of chats and stuff, but we got a lot to get through. And maybe tonight I'll start scrolling through and talking to everybody that's out there and reaching out. So we appreciate everybody watching. Listen, LinkedIn and some of the channels do not let us continue to go live for long periods of time. So go to YouTube, subscribe to that YouTube channel. That way you don't miss anything that we're doing. We will be in Europe for 5 weeks starting in July doing a European tour. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you tune in. And I know we got people, they want to come in and check everything. It's busy. Let them come in. It doesn't bother us.
Come on, guys.
Come on in.
They can come in. So,
Bring you some swag.
oh, they're bringing swag. Oh, we got swag. Jennifer's delivering swag. There you go. There's a Dave Cooper Live swag sweatshirt. Yeah, wear it with pride. Wear it with pride. All right, Gally, that's it, man. I appreciate everything you've done for us, and we're going to get back to work. Hey, everybody out there, make sure you support them, follow them. We need to see them succeed. We can't have any more failures in this industry, and I don't think that's what's going to happen here. We'll see you next time. Bye, Rick.